Gets enough sleep tonight.
We're doing inventory. That's the only reason. Oh, hi, Nick. Go ahead.
Hi, Chris. Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back
Hello,
to
Nick.
Beer Analysis 101 with your host, Greg Willstar.
Yay.
I'm Maxwell Star. Greg is Greg. We'll get into the details of who's who later on, but tonight we're going to do a classic Canadian red ale. Rickard's Red, amazingly, a beer that we have not done on BA 101 in our 5 years of existence, despite how ubiquitous this is in Canada. Or at least how ubiquitous it used to be. But we'll get into that shortly. Let's start with who we have with us tonight, starting with Redbeard. The perfect guy to kick this evening off.
With the
Look,
red.
it's
Rickard
red,
Beard.
and my beard is red. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing okay.
Really
Good.
more of an orange.
I'm finally going to get my car repaired.
Yes, me too.
Yay.
Yeah, glad to be here to have this beer and stuff and things.
All right.
Stuffing things.
All right. So speaking of...
Oh, hello.
All right. Oh, hello. Hello,
Hello.
Chris. Mr.
Hello.
Off the 10th, who's kind of half retired YouTuber. I don't know what you're doing now.
You said retired, right? 'Cause-
Wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I said retired. I didn't say the other thing.
All right. Yeah, I'm taking a year off of
A little bit of both.
uploading anything to my Off the 10 channel just because I want to, and I'm here as a cameo appearance. Thank you very much. It's like having a superhero on a superhero show that's not part of the show. I'm looking forward to drinking this one. I was going to buy a Rickard's White to cuvee it, but fuck, can't find any.
Yeah, do they still even sell that?
I don't know. Is it
Belgian
Belgian Moon now?
Pretty much.
Anyway, okay, yeah, that's all. I'm here.
Your
Thanks for having me,
OnlyFans
Nick.
better still be up because I'm paying for that shit.
Jesus.
No, it's
He's not uploading that.
it's not up anymore.
Yeah, why am I subscribed to your Patreon anymore?
Because you're a sucker.
For the
Hey,
news.
speaking of which, hey,
For the
hey,
news.
Lee.
Hi, how you doing, Nick?
How you doing tonight, dear Lee?
I'm living.
Not in focus. Go ahead.
You living the dream?
No, I'm just living.
You're kind of leaned over, kind of looking like you're looking for your perfect clip on your soundboard.
Jesus.
I don't have my soundboard open.
Oh, damn it. All right. Well, everybody knows Mr. Lee of High Tide and Vibe, but thank you very much, sir. Let's move on to who we got next, which is, of course, everybody's,
Least favorite Greg.
Greg. Least
My
hated
name-
Greg. Let's put it that way.
My name is Greg, and I have a penis. I also have this Rickard's Pink that I'm currently enjoying, and I'm happy to be here as the meat between a Lee sandwich. So, cheers.
I imagine Greg's going to drink the beer eventually.
I eventually will, yes. I'm a professional like that.
All right. Okay, moving on to last but not least, we got Lady Lee.
Hello.
Hello, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I kind of laughed at myself because I read Lee's name as Canada's sweatshirt. I was really confused by why.
Canada's sweatshirt.
So yeah, that is my day. That is how it's going.
How about sweatshop?
All right.
That'd be funny.
Sweatshop.
At least mine wasn't as bad. Jeez.
Lee has an
right.
entire sweatshop. I love you, Lee.
Do you?
I do.
He was
Okay,
talking to Melly, but sure.
Everybody loves Lee. Come on.
That's what I'm saying. Do you?
I do.
But which Lee?
Joke.
Yeah, that we'll leave that up for
Let's talk about
discussion.
Bailey.
All right, so let's get down to, of course, the beer history that we have with us tonight. And actually, did spend some time writing this up because really there isn't a whole lot of information. Despite how ubiquitous this beer is, there isn't really a whole lot of information to be found on the internet. And I got a lot of this from just basic details on a LinkedIn profile. So let's just say this. The Rickard's Red, the origins of Rickard's Red can be traced back to the Capilano Brewing Company of Vancouver, BC, built in 1953 by the Sitt family. They own a family that owned a chain of regional breweries throughout Western Canada, like Winnipeg and Alberta and stuff like that. It was a brewery that was a chain of breweries that was acquired by Molson in 1958, after which it became the original producer of Molson products. Fast forward to early 1980, the year 1980, when we meet a young Gord Rickard, who, after graduating from the University of BC with a master's degree in organic chemistry, Gord joined Molson as a quality control manager at first at the former Capilano Brewery. In 1982, he graduated from the Siebel's Brewing School, becoming a brewmaster at the brewery, a position he held for 30 years, all the way up until 2012. At that time, in the early 1980s, the beer industry was dominated by lagers, but a growing premium beer movement had begun to take hold, and the U.S. had even begun to see its first successful craft breweries pop up, such as Anchor Steam and Sierra Nevada. In response to this movement, Rickard put his skills to the test and created an Irish red style ale for using 3 different malts, hops from the Pacific Northwest, and the finest brewer's caramel. First released as Capilano Brewing's Red Ale in 1984, the beer eventually changed its name to Rickard's Red, a name that garnered it more nationwide recognition. So it's kind of started first production in BC and then gradually moved across Canada in the late 80s. At its peak in the late 2000s and early 2010s, Rickard's had expanded to several beers. They had Rickard's White, which was essentially the same beer as the Blue Moon from the States, U.S. Blue Moon, which was, I think, the big difference is the Canadian one was made with real sugar, and Blue Moon was brewed with corn syrup or something. That was one of the biggest differences, which also was a product owned by Molson Coors. So, and there's also Rickard's Honey Brown. They had Rickard's Dark. I remember I used to like the Dark, which was an English porter brewed with lager yeast. Rickard's Blonde, which is a German-style Pilsner. They had a bunch of one-offs, such as like Rickard's Oak House, the Cardigan, the Lederhosen Oktoberfest that they had, as well as some
red IPA as well in the session. I think session ale or IPA or something like that.
No, it was like a session red or something like that, or red IPA. Yeah, they had like a red pack for a while. They also had the Rickard's Shandy and Rickard's Radler. Anyway, so today, pretty much all Rickards have disappeared except for the one that's left, Rickard's Red, from the Canadian beer market. Even their classic white ale has been largely discontinued and replaced by Belgian Moon, which is, of course, the Canadian version of Blue Moon. So the only remaining Rickard's beer widely available is tonight's beer, although I do think you can still get the Rickard's Radler in some places. And if you're lucky enough to still find one, some of the Rickard's Tasters packs, you can still get like the Rickard's White and the Rickard's Blonde in now.
Okay.
But their start date.
I'm sure that won't be old.
Greg has a fancy glass he's showing off.
Rickard's
Yeah,
Shandy.
Yeah, I don't have a Rickard's glass.
I have one somewhere.
Anyway,
Well, next time if I'm sending a beer mail, let me know. I have like 24 of these because literally my wife used to work at Molson. So if anyone wants one, I have a lot extra.
Nice.
You send me a glass, PJ will kill me.
Those things
All
used
right.
to be. Those used to be around everywhere. They were like fucking mice or some shit.
all right.
you
So
know?
let me finish the history here. So
Nice.
Rickard's Red. We'll talk about tonight's beer. Rickard's Red is a 5.2% ABV, 16 IBU, Irish style red ale brewed, as noted earlier, with 3 different malts barleys, hops from the Pacific Northwest, and brewer's caramel, which is essentially liquid brown sugar, which is
but it's just for
liquid sugar made from malted barley. Basically.
But it's just for coloring though. It actually doesn't add any like sweetness or anything.
Wait till your
All right.
review, Lee.
Yeah.
I'm just
Lee.
Right.
it has nothing to do with my review. I'm just saying what
We're talking out of place right now.
Wow.
I can leave. It's fine.
It's gonna be a domestic feud here.
Leave.
Yeah, leave. Well, speaking of which, don't take this personally, but we got Dan here, who I'm going to get him to talk about his personal history.
Wow, terrible.
Two things. There.
Oh, shit, that was amazing.
Nice segue.
Wow.
Bad segue, whatever you want to call it.
He bought the case.
Well, you know, Dan did all the trouble of buying a 12-pack of beers, and
Nice.
And he's gonna go to the trouble of drinking a 12-pack too.
So, okay, quickly, Dan, because you just showed up. What's your history? What's your? How you doing tonight? First of all, we'll get into
First of
history.
all, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Good.
Secondly, my history. It's been a while. It's been a long time. And
Okay, you can
pretty
talk about
much-
history in a sec. We haven't done histories yet.
Cool. I'm
Jesus,
doing good.
all right.
Bye.
All right, good night.
Wow,
Hi,
Nick
Lee.
is a cruel mistress tonight.
Should have did this on Discord.
A little late for that. All right, so you're up. Well, let's put Redbeard up because he was first in line. Let's go to Redbeard and say, "Hey, Redbeard, what's your history with this beer?"
Bar I worked at many years ago here in town called the Moose. Had it on tap, and I know I tried it at least once back then, but I really wasn't a fan of any beer back then. More recently, I couldn't tell you the last time I had some of this, but I'm sure I've had it within like the last 10 years at least once. But yeah, red ales. I don't hate them. I like them generally, but I don't like them as much as other styles, I guess. So I don't gravitate towards them that much. So yeah, I've had it, just not in a little while.
All right. Okay, let's go over to the next person in line, which is Mr. Christopher.
Hi. I see if when the last time I had this beer. I can't even find it. My history with this beer, I used to drink this not on the regular, just once in a while at a bar. I did buy the packs when they all came out. I think I've tried all the other Rickards, the blondes, not all of them, but the majority of them. And yeah, it's been a long time, and I'm actually kind of impressed right now with this one, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. All right, and Mr. Lee, what's your history with the beer?
Reviewed it years ago. Didn't think it was all that hot, but it was, it was okay. And our options for red ales were pretty limited. So it's like, okay, I can drink this once in a while when I feel like a red ale that's not as good as Garrison's Red. And yeah, they've had some varying okay products sort of based off the line here and there that have been better. Rickard's Dark, I think, was the real standout that I really liked. But yeah, I've had it on and off over the years. Haven't had it in a long time recently, although it's much, like you're saying, it's much more scarce now anyway. It's like you either get Rickard's Red or you get the Taster's Pack. I don't really want the Taster's Pack because the Pilsner and the White aren't all that great. And like the quality's gone down over the years too. I feel like it's kind of become a more homogenized Molson product, as they started to realize, we can't really compete with the craft breweries all that much, so why bother? They'll just make it more of a legacy brand again, kind of thing. So,
all right. Oh, and by the way, it was the Red Session Lager.
That's what it was. Yeah,
that's what it is. All right, so let's move over to who's next and go to Greg. Hi, Greg.
Nick, I know you were worried I wasn't legal, so here I am. I got my Rickard's Red. I got my Rickard's glass. Now, seeing as this is a nitro beer, we pour it right down the middle.
It's not a nitro beer.
And here comes
there's the J. Terrio pour. That's good stuff.
Suck it up, bitch.
Yes, ma'am. That's the kind of commands I like. So my history with this beer. Well, once upon a time, there was this thing called Rickard's White, and everyone drank it with an orange, and it was wonderful. And that's how I got into craft beer. And shortly after, I thought, I will try another Rickard's product. I will try the red. And I didn't like it as much as the white. And that is my history. So that was like circa 2011.
The more you know.
There you go. And I've had it a few times before, but I don't gravitate towards red ales. And when I do, I prefer ones that are more crafty and hoppy, because I like a good American red ale. And yes, Lady Lee, I know I'm an American red ale.
Dun 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 dun.
She's not here. There she is. She's behind the duck.
She's a duck. She's a duck.
I thought she disappeared, but she's behind the duck.
You're a duck.
She's right here. She's next anyway. All right, Lady Lee, what's your history?
No, Greg's
It's my first time.
This is your first time, was it? Everybody remembers your first time.
It's usually a little red the first time.
Redhead. I'm surprised that Lee doesn't like it more. He said he doesn't go for reds.
Yeah, really. He just prefers different reds, I think, more authentic reds.
Yeah.
Like Redbeard.
Yeah, so this will be my first time consuming
The red carpet, red drapes.
This one. I do remember the Rickard's Honey Brown commercials, like way back in the day, like the radio ads, because they were like the mellow commercials of like, it's smooth tasting, you'll enjoy this. So yeah, that kind of made me laugh that we're doing this. That is my history. Yay!
Yay!
Nice. All All
We're
right, so
happy to watch and record you losing your virginity.
I'm just gonna pop out somebody at random and just say, yeah, let's put Dan in. All right.
Hey, look, I'm front
Oh
and center.
shit! That definitely does not look
That's
like Dan.
That's not Dan. That's not Dan at all.
I'm like the evil Dan or the good Dan. I'm not sure which.
All right, Dan, what's your history?
Well, unlike you little whippersnappers out there, there's a
Oh,
reason
wow.
why I put 30-year Red
Whippersnapper.
Dan. So my first time having this beer was November 4th, 1992.
Wow.
When I sat there, would you like to sing while you're there you go. Yeah.
No, he's conducting you.
Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya.
Where I sat there, and my first ever beer legally as a 19-year-old was Rickard's Red.
Jesus, you're old.
So basically, my history with this beer is it started me on my path downhill to being an alcohol. I mean, being a craft beer. No, that's not it. But it was my very first beer I ever had. I had it with dinner with my parents, and then my dad took me and snuck me into the back door of a local bar, got me absolutely hammered. And I remember the Canucks and Flames playing, and I remember it being tied 3-3, but apparently they tied 5-5. And I don't remember much else aside from that, but that was my history. I've had this. It's been 30 years. So
Today, Junior.
Today, listen up, Sonny.
So basically, Dan lost his virginity to the same beer Lady Lee just lost her virginity to, but Dan did it
30
back
years
in the
earlier,
days.
3 decades ago.
That's like old creepy Uncle Dan. All right, so let's go right back around.
I was trying to fly. I was being a duck.
Yes, I did. No, okay, the math doesn't work. I was almost going to say that Dan drank his first legal beer before Lady Lee was born, but not quite. He's not that old.
So
I was
anybody,
4 years old when he had his first Rickard's Red.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll ruin myself, and then I'll get somebody to read comments. Well, not in that order. Who wants to read comments first of all?
I can read comments.
Yay.
Alrighty. So we'll bring the panel like this, and literally you start reading comments. I'll put them on screen, but I'm going to take myself out of the game. I'll be right back.
Hello! In a Mrs. Doubtfire voice. Fancy Rickard's glass. Oh, Rickard's, correction. Haha. Wow, Lee puts down the hammer. I do at times. Vincent Fournier, my grandfather still has old Molson O'Keefe glasses in good shape too. Ooh, I remember the ads for those beers too. That Sensational says, sweet corn poster. This is a room I could hang out in. He's only a few hours away. If you have like a teleporter.
Yeah, only a few hours away.
Well, Dan does, but it's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Dan has some extra. I'll just sec, Gary. Dan has some extra bottles of Rickard's Red too. If you want to join in, 30-year-old.
You said that so
only got
creepily
11.
too, Nick.
He would use his teleporter, but he's got a family thing going on tonight.
Ontario and Alberta are not that far apart. Come on now. Just hop on and go.
Two provinces apart.
I think it's making Lee's face red. Lee's face is always red. I'm drinking. That's what happens. That's sensational. Poor kid. I said Carrie was a dancing duck.
Goddamn right.
And
Who was chosen the last few beers?
Bubba Sadie's.
Awesome.
Bubba Sadie's, thank you.
Yeah, who's in charge of that, Nick?
It's all about beers we can all get. It's
all about beers that Nick could get.
It's honestly been a minute since anyone has done like a beer mail kind of thing to get beer. I think
a big reason too, right? Is like people are starting to get their lives back in order in general. Like it hasn't even been over a year yet where we're kind of rebuilding and restarting and getting everything organized again. So I think it makes sense that there's nobody or people are not sending out beer mails as often because we're not as freely available as we were for like the last 2 years.
None of us have our life in order. Stop spreading lies.
Greg has just been very busy as of late with all his shit he's
But it's
been
just
doing
getting
with his
life like
movie stuff.
everything. Everything's getting
But,
busier again. Everything's happening again. Like everyone's
Yeah.
trying to get things done. Even in general too. Like people, I know there's a lot of people here whose lives have completely changed. Like massive changes have happened. So, but yeah, we go for whatever is available for all of us to grab. So sometimes it's these fun beers that we get to do.
But tell you what, though, Bubba Sadies, if you want to sponsor this entire panel and send the beer to us every fucking week, so you and 2 other people can fucking watch the show, go ahead.
Had you not said fucking
I'm
in
just,
it like
I'm
so
just
many
glad
times?
that I could be off screen for like 3 minutes and people still making excuses for why we drink all this beer selection. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, where it's availability. All right, let's bring back.
Oh, you didn't have to. I'm just gonna go grab another beer. You can go back. Come back in, Nick.
Had
All right.
had Lee not sounded so vicious, that would have been a good advertisement.
Oh, nice.
Take a few fucks out of the way, and then
It
would have been a very good
is
sentence.
Yeah, my life just needs to get, you know, but my priorities might not be straight. Let's just go with that.
To me,
Remind my specials.
to sort of defend Redbeard for a second, I'm convinced he doesn't sleep like more than once every 3 days or something. Like he never seems to sleep. He's like a vampire or something.
I get a minimum of like 7 hours a night, man.
I don't know when you're like logged on playing games when I go to bed, and you're often in the morning available
Where's
online
my
as
free
well.
red beers? You never asked us,
Jamie.
women.
Jamie, you need to
Jamie.
make you need to give us
Jamie.
your
We can't
your
send
time
it.
and your presence more often. Be part of this, and then I'd send you a beer.
Jamie, I went up to your home in an Ontario area, and I tried to give you free beer, and nobody answered your door. So, what's up?
They did. Were they very confused? Who is this person coming into my yard?
I'm assuming he has. So I'm assuming he has somebody house sitting. He isn't just leaving his house vacant for a year. That would be a bad thing with your insurance company. Don't do that.
I guess you could rent it out. Then you have to deal with tenants.
Yeah. That
Anyway.
poop.
Hey,
that
just
poop on
you
your
get
floor
somebody
before
you
leave.
know to come by once a week and check on this and that, and whatever, and But yeah, we doing some final thoughts on this shit, or what's happening?
I think we're waiting for Nick.
Oh, is Nick?
Sorry.
Rob.
Actually, Chris is back, so I'm gonna take Dan back out of the equation. And add Chris back, and let's.
Hello.
Oh, you know what? I never really did say my history on this, and I feel like it's only fair to actually talk about
It's all about you, Nick.
my free red beers.
My free red beers.
I
Damn
mean-
it, that was a good one.
Yeah, where's my the way I reviewed it on YouTube way back in June 2011, and
Oh,
I
look at that
actually
oven.
had Rickard's well before that, because like when I first got into craft, like drinking actually craft and crafty beers way back in like 2009, I used to gravitate towards these taster packs that everybody had at the time, like because of the fact that like, well, I can buy a 12-pack of beer and like, get like 4 different ones. So I think at the time they had like the I think at first they had the red, the white, the honey brown, and I don't really recall liking the honey brown as much. But when the dark came out, I fucking loved the dark. But the other ones, I thought the white was okay. I think generally I thought the red was just decent, but it wasn't the one in the pack that got me the most excited. Definitely my favorite Rickards of all time is probably the dark, but and I wish they still it was still available. But either way, it's not like it's a brewery that I gravitated to, and I can't remember the last time I actually sat down and drank a Rickards. If I'm being totally honest, probably when I tried the Rickards Radler or something, whenever it came out. I think it only came out a few years ago.
You're a rattler.
You're a Radler.
Wow.
You're an
this
8.5.
This panel is vicious tonight.
I think when we do our final thoughts on this beer, everyone, if you've had any of the other ones besides the Rickard's Red, you can say which one you preferred out of the other ones.
Wow.
Sounds
Or
fair.
this one.
That's a good idea.
Speaking of which, why don't we do that now and talk about Redbeard? Redbeard, what's your verdict?
It's a beer. I think what Greg mentioned before. Hoppy red ales. A big fan of those, almost like a red IPA style. Big fan of them. This style, it's okay comparative to that kind of thing, but And then even in terms of a red ale, I've had other just normal red ales that are better than this. It's not bad, but it's got some weird kind of, I don't know, just a weird finish to it. Kind of wet, cardboardy. Maybe a bit of cat food. I don't know.
That's supposed to be Gandalf's food.
I don't.
Food.
I spent a lot of money on their
Cat
food. It's for
food.
them. I'm gonna say overall enjoyment 6. I'll go 6 across the board. It's okay.
Right.
6 is across.
Nah.
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 All right, we'll let you go get another beer so you can wash that kitty litter taste out of your mouth. Let's go over to Chris.
I said
Zach.
cat food, not
Oh,
kitty
okay,
litter.
tired.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, this is super refreshing. Like, I'm not going to even lie. This is the time of year, if any,
He's lying.
to drink this beer. This kind of gives me that kind of a fall kind of a taste with the caramel in it. That kind of, I don't want to say Marzen or whatever, but it's kind of giving me that kind of. If there's a season for this beer, it's this one. It's fall. I think personally, not a summer crusher, definitely not a winter crusher because we're all doing imperial stouts, right, Greg?
Yep.
And obviously in the summertime, it's fucking light beers and IPAs. Anyway, but
Okay, but
I think this is a good beer for this time of season, and I think that's why I'm actually really enjoying this beer right now. It's kind of chilly outside, and I let the dog out a little while ago, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this beer right now. Lots of caramel I'm getting off of this one. It's super sweet. And yeah, red ale, it is, but it's obviously just basically a lager with some adjuncts added into it. I gonna say I kind of okay for the style. I'm gonna give this one a 7.5 out of 10. It is what it is, and for my personal enjoyment, I'm liking it. I'm gonna go 7.75 out of 10.
Ooh,
I like it. It's good.
Wow.
It's good today.
big ratings.
It's good
All right.
I just want to quickly say,
Oh wait,
the whole seasonal
sorry.
thing. I don't. That's weird to me. I'll drink a friggin' bourbon barrel aged imperial stout in the middle of summer. It's still just a tasty beer.
Sure, you can if you're outside on the deck when you're sweating, if you want.
I'm leaving Chris up on the screen because Red Beer
Yeah.
is talking over Chris's turn.
No, and oh yeah, and
I
out
apologize.
of all the beers that I've had before, out of all the Rickard styles that I've had before, I'm gonna say that today this is my favorite one. But it used to be the honey brown. I didn't mind that one at all when they all came out. But yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Let's move over to Monsieur Lee. Mr. Lee, what do you think?
It's all right, I guess. It's it's semi malty. It's not really up to the standards of a really decent red ale, especially these days. Even if it's not a hoppy American style one, there's plenty of Irish red ales that have a bit more maltiness, a bit more body to them, that are even better suited to this weather. If you go with Chris's comments there, which I tend to agree with, even though it's like you don't have to fall into seasons,
don't.
but people tend
Fall
to
into
do
fall?
anyway. Yeah. It's all right. It just feels kind of very dialed back from anything that I would seek out. But it's not terrible. There's nothing actively bad in it or anything like that. Like I was saying at the top of the show, like it says, brewer's caramel or whatever. That has nothing to do with the actual flavor of this. That's just for the coloring. So that's what's making it a bit darker than it is. Like the actual malts here are probably pretty light, honestly, all things considered. For style, Irish red ale in general is one of my more go-to styles that I prefer, and this ain't really cutting it all that well. I'd go about a 5.5 on style. I've had just like way better at this point, and this isn't doing it. It wasn't even doing it for me back in the day when I first reviewed it. And personal preference, I'll throw a 6 at it. I can drink it. I would buy it again, maybe if I was hard pressed, but if someone handed it to me, I wouldn't say no to it. But yeah, you can pass it. It's fine. And as far as like the stuff that Rickard's made that I really loved, like Nick the Dark. The fucking Dark was probably their
Nick the
best beer.
Dark.
So there you go.
All right. Well, so what did you say for style, Lee?
I said 5.5 and
All right.
and 6 for
6.
personal preference.
All right. Awesome, Lee. All right. So, thank you. Let's go on to Mr. Gorg.
Hello.
Hello, Greg.
Number one, I have an opinion on this whole seasonal beer thing. So,
Did you have an opinion
Yes.
on everything?
Ooh,
I do have
opened
an
up a
opinion.
Can of worms.
I
on
do have an
me.
opinion on everything.
You
So,
have
so
an
I'm going
opinion,
to,
Greg. Nobody knows shit.
It's not my own
For-
opinion.
as a man, I'm entitled to have an opinion.
Here we go.
And here's my opinion on seasonalness.
Doesn't make it right.
No, it doesn't make it right. But I like the whole seasonality of beer. I agree. You can have an imperial stout in the middle of summer. You can have a lager in the middle of winter. It doesn't matter. There's not necessarily a seasonalist. But it's the same thing with you can have pumpkin pie in the springtime. You can watch horror movies in the middle of summer, but there's just something about, having it in the fall makes it feel a little more special. And that's just how society wires us with all, the stuff going through. Hey, it's Halloween time, it's Christmas time, Easter time, blah, blah, blah. But anyways, regardless, our minds are wired that way. At least most of us are. Maybe Manly's not. He tends to go against the grain with these things. But the rest of us are sort of wired that way. And I enjoy certain beers at certain times of the year. It doesn't mean I won't drink them other times, but I do feel this is a good fall beer. To be honest, I think it's a lot more to have to do with the coloring of the beer that you just pour it. You're like, oh, this is such a fall beer because
It's red.
Red like the leaves.
it doesn't particularly taste to me like a fall beer, but if you blindfolded me, I don't know if I'd say this was a fall beer, but the redness certainly gives it. But hey, the visual of a beer it's part of the whole package. Anyways, actually, so that's my opinion. I do believe in seasonality of beer, but hey, drink what you want. I personally, if I'm in an air-conditioned room in the middle of summer, sure, give me a double Tempest. I wouldn't drink it by the pool while the sun's blaring down on me, but that's just me. In terms of the beer, that might work too. But in the pool, I'd probably rather not drink a double Tempest because the chances of me drowning are pretty high.
There you go.
Or somebody around me who can't swim drowning because I am in no position to save them. Anyways, this beer, I like it. It's so for a macro beer, I'll say first off, I get no hints whatsoever of corn syrup, and that's probably because there's quite a bit of malts in this, and I get a lot of sweet maltiness. But I actually like this. Now, I mean, for a macro, if you told me this was done by a craft brewery, I'd believe them. Except most craft breweries make hoppy reds, but some don't. It's actually, believe it or not, much better than Great Lakes had a beer that they discontinued, I think 2 years ago. It was their Red Leaf Amber Ale or Red Lager, whatever they called it. And this is actually much better than that, believe it or not. That was not a great beer.
Nice.
By a company that usually makes pretty good beers, but yeah, this is actually much better than that. It's very on the sweet side. It's not, to me, it doesn't bother me. A lot of sweet beers do bother me. This one is not too bad. Like it kind of reminds me of a nice beer. You'd get like an English beer. You'd get you'd go to England, get a pint and drink it with your buddies while you're watching a game of football, but it's actually not football, it's soccer because they talk weird over there.
Randomly come to think of it, when it was at the bar when I was younger, that, and I want to say maybe Keith's, were treated as premium beers. Like they cost a bit more for a pint, which is hilarious because you think of where they are now.
I don't see this. I don't see this really available anymore. But I don't go to that many bars, so what do I know? But I don't typically see this available anymore. But yeah, no, this was usually treated as a premium. It may not be treated like, there's usually like 3 levels. There's like the domestic, which is basically Coors Light and Canadian. And then it's like the premium, and then there's your imports. And now imports would be like craft, where they basically charge you the extra $1 for the pint or whatever. Yeah. May as well do it. But so anyways, I overall like this beer. I mean, I'm not going to suck its dick or anything. It is what it is. It's kind of a red beer. They're not that boring. They're not that exciting. They are kind of boring, but they're fine if that's what you're in the mood for. My sister-in-law fucking loves these kinds of beers. She's a terrible person, but she loves these kind of beers. And I would give it for style. I would say it's perfectly in the solid good range. I would go with a 7 on the style. Personal preference, I'm gonna go with a decent 6.5. I think it's good. I really don't have a problem with it. If I went to Nick's house and he gave me this beer, I wouldn't slug him or anything. I might even thank him, but I mean, I don't think I'd go out of my way to buy it unless we re-anal this in a year or 2 or 3 or 8, if we're still alive. And otherwise, it is what it is. I mean, it's not that exciting. Oh, and by the way, my favorite Rickards of all time, mainly for nostalgic sake, is the Rickards White, just because I love that beer with an orange back in the day. And I haven't drank Blue Moon, its current equivalent, or Belgian Moon, I think they call it here. I haven't drank that in quite some time. I don't really want to because I know it won't be nearly as good as I remember it being. But yeah, that beer has a nostalgic value for me. So that's my favorite of the taster pack.
There you go.
Yay!
Right. Yay!
Yay!
All right. Greg's opinion, everyone.
Yes,
We all had
listen to it. Yes, you did.
Actually,
That's
it
a
was
goo. That's a goo.
pretty good-
Greg's own
pretty good.
opinion.
Pretty good story. Anyway, yeah, okay, so thank you for that, Greg. Let's move over to Lady Lee.
Hello.
First timer.
Hello.
So I feel like my opinion is based off of like 2 red beers that I've had because I haven't had many red beers. I only
I think you said 2 red beards.
Red beards.
red beards. Yeah,
There's
I do have-
2 of them?
I do have 2 of them in my life currently. So
Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh dear God.
We're spreading.
Yeah, it's
She's had
contagious.
more red beard more often.
Oh, Christ, Radar got into the Google Translate again. Sorry, Greg.
Jesus. Is
Um,
it Jack now or
so-
something?
This beer, so this is like 2 beers, red beers I've had. The other one that I had was a lot darker. Like I find this one to be a lot lighter, and I found the other one that I had maltier, which I do prefer. But I have discovered that I do really enjoy red beers, not beards.
I
red
enjoy you
beers.
too. It's okay.
I enjoy red beers, but I enjoy red beers. Excuse me, sorry. Anyway, I do get that like that little bit of maltiness taste, which is nice. I am enjoying this. Like, there's a lot of anger towards this one, and I don't know. Fuck you guys.
Wow.
I like it.
I said I liked it. Jesus.
Me too.
There was like other people that said no.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, it's getting heated.
Your oven just got rated in the chat. It's 3 out of 5.
Oh wow. Oh.
Oh.
With the broken bottom
You're-
on it.
Your stove kind of looks like it's trying to be sexy. And
I
biting
love
its
this. The
little-
sound she just made me think of Tina from
Hey.
Bob's Burgers. Just,
I think that's
It's
the
like
noise she was going
the stove is trying to be sexy and biting its lip like.
I don't know. I know you didn't like
Right.
it, but that picture Guy did of it was
Fuck
awesome.
yeah.
there we go.
There you go.
Fuck you. The stove is dead. Long
All
live
right,
the brick
Lee.
wall.
So
Anyways,
the next.
so I'm quite enjoying this. I do think it's nice. I do agree with the whole like seasonal thing. We do tend to lean towards certain ingredients during certain seasons. So yeah, this does give you that kind of fallness.
Watch where you put your
Uh,
hand. You're revealing the stove.
I lose my focus really easily. So fuck all of y'all right
I'm
now.
sorry.
Yeah, stop it, Rickard. Look, man.
I'm enjoying it. It is a little lighter compared to the other one that I usually have. So I do find it light in flavor, but I do still find it delicious. I'm going to give it for style. I can't really compare it to much, so it might be in a couple of years I'll switch all this. But anyways, I'll give it style. I'm going to go like 7.5. And personal preference. I like it. I'm going to go 8. It goes down really smooth. I'm really enjoying it. It's probably one of my more preferred ones. I also, like I said, on the preference of malt beers in general. So, yeah. That is
Yeah.
my review.
Yay.
So 7.5 and 8. What was your favorite Rickards beforehand? Honey
I
Brown?
never had
That's
any of
it.
them. This one?
Oh wow.
It's only one.
Then I guess. All right. All
I
right.
like how
So
everyone has a brick background now. Thanks,
Jamie
guys.
did some really
Solidarity.
weird pig Latin in the chat.
All right, so let's move along. Who's next? So I'm gonna
If
take.
you want to throw Dan back in, I have to go to the washroom and do something. So
All right, cool. Dan.
Well,
What?
we know
What?
what's
Dan?
dead.
What? Oh, fuck! Is my turn? Oh
Pretty cool
shit!
when
I'm
you use a
sorry.
different background.
God damn! I thought I was. All right. Okay. I'm not in the green room anymore. Cool. So, honestly, I remember this being a little darker. I remember it being maltier. I remember it being a little bit more bitter. Yes. And that's the hard part about that is I actually remember this shit from 30 years ago. But this one is actually not that bad. I don't mind it. I'm kind of glad I got a 12 pack because it's going to last me maybe the night. And you know, it's okay. I do prefer a sort of maltier, bitter red ale now versus this. So it's honestly it's not it's middle of the road, and I don't know. For me, it's still enjoyable. I'm on my second bottle. I don't have cans out here. Fucking. It took me 3 different liquor stores to find this. And I don't know why it's so not readily available here. I mean, it's at Alberta after all. People would drink the shit out of this. But honestly, for style, I have to drop it down to a 5. I've had much better and I've had much worse. And enjoyability, yeah, it does the job. It'd probably go well with the pizza with no pineapple that I've got coming up soon. So I'm just doing this to please Lee. And so I'm going to say 7.
Wow. So that was
5 for style, 7 for enjoyability.
5 for style, 7 for enjoyability. All right, let's jot that number down. You caught me in the middle of something, so. 20. What? All right.
Okay, Nick, you're not supposed to be watching porn while you do
That'll make sense
this
here in a
show.
right.
Wait a minute. You're not?
No, it's worth it. Hold on.
And the beer that I enjoyed out of the 3 of the Rickard's beer that I enjoyed the most, I'm gonna have to go with Greg because I really like putting orange in with the Rickard's white. That was really good, and I can drink that shit all day. So,
yay! Dan and Greg are in agreement on something.
doesn't happen often, but you know it's now live, so it's out there.
I mean, if you and Redbeard agree on something, the universe is going to explode.
Well, the universe is going to explode when Nick and I meet each other, so it's going to be one or the other.
No, it's not going to explode. We and you are just going to cancel each other out.
Oh, right.
What is the immovable force meeting the unstoppable object?
It's like in Star Trek, if antimatter meets matter, it destroys the universe or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, Jesus.
I had to change my background.
Oh, wow. Nick, you've always liked me behind you.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Drinking liquids and everything.
I look like I'm licking Nick's ear.
Probably wouldn't be the first time.
Well, I don't even think it would be the second time.
No.
All right, I gotta turn that off because it's distracting.
Fucking you little ear slut.
Oh, God. All right, so
Subi.
Okay, so all seriousness aside, what did I think about this beer? I gotta dig up my tasting notes and further delay everybody here. So, touch citrus, touch earthy hop note, a little bit of cherry caramel going on, smooth body, bit nutty, woody, lingering roasty caramel coming in, and with a toasty grain in the finish. But it also comes out as a little flat cardboardy as well in the finish as well. I find as it warms up, it's still fairly tasty, but it's also starting to become a little weak. It's in the same fashion that Red Beard was talking about earlier. All honesty, though, it's not bad for what it is. I mean, when you take into consideration that this is an imitation, effectively, red ale from the Ireland that came out in like the early 1980s, that nobody knew what a red ale was at the time. It's actually pretty decent beer. I mean, it doesn't really hold up to Irish Reds today, but it's still, I find, like an easily sessionable, drinkable red ale. If you're looking for a good, maybe minorly above average macro ale of some sort. I do see the fall beer kind of quality you get from this, because it almost comes across as like with that little caramel brown sugar kind of taste. It's like a little bit of like a fall spice brown kind of beer, and it's almost maybe a little less cinnamon away from being like one of those harvest like pumpkin beers that doesn't have the pumpkin in it. If you get what I mean. Yeah. So overall enjoyment. I like it. I gotta give it 6.5 out of 5. I mean, and for the style, I actually, as you compare to like other Irish Reds, it's obviously not as good as like Picaroon's Irish Reds, better. But you're starting to get into like craft reds as well. And I'm trying to remember, there was one really good Irish red that I had. It was actually from Ireland. I was like, I think a brand name started with a C. I can't remember what it was called. I have to look it up. I know
it was you like Smithwick's.
No, it wasn't Smithwick's. Definitely not Smithwick's. No, it was.
I think you like Plan B's Irish Red when we had it in St. Catharines.
I went to Plan B.
If I had that was. I think I remember. I don't remember having it.
Here's the review with the chick.
Like with red ales, it's not like a remarkable beer style. Okay, it's another British beer style. It's like, but there's a lot of them. You go to like microbreweries and you have the red too, and you're like, okay, well that's good, but it's not the most memorable beer of the day, because you're always going for that IPA at a craft brewery or a nice, really well-made stout. It's bugging me now, so I'm gonna do a search on my channel to see. I know it started with a C of some sort, and I remember it had this like pull tab for a top on it on the bottle.
I think it goes without saying that I enjoy Plan B.
Let's go to the comments, Nick, and let Lee.
I recall enjoying some of Plan B's beer. They were
a good Irish Red.
Their stuff wasn't bad, and their stuff was very reasonably priced for the time.
I went there with the Albino Rino.
Oh yeah,
and the Maple Ruski.
Porterhouse Red. That's what it was. Porterhouse Red.
That doesn't start with a C, but it's close enough.
I know it doesn't, but
I've never had a porterhouse. It's a big steak, apparently.
Anyway, let's get back to the whole thing. I gave it 6.5 all around for this thing. It's all right.
It wasn't the plan to be done this before Dan showed up.
It's actually better. Well, he showed up within 10 minutes, so we couldn't do anything about that.
Jesus.
We're just gonna have to make him drink the rest of the... We're just going to put Dan up in the middle of the screen and just make him drink the rest of the 12 pack.
While somebody reads comments.
I believe in Dan. I think Dan can drink all 12 before the show's over.
Here, I'll take myself out.
Dan's muted, I think.
Lady Lee.
I am muted. Damn it. I was saying fuck you all and then drank that. And
I didn't say shit. Fuck you.
Okay, no. All right.
I didn't say shit because it wasn't in the chat.
Okay, fuck you all except for both Lees. All right? There we go.
I didn't fucking say a word to you.
I didn't say anything. What the fuck?
No. I don't want to hear it.
All right, Dan, you're going to mouth the comments as I read them. I don't even know where we were. Cornposer, I think we're making Poor Kid, Carrie's Dancing. Who has chosen the last few beers? Red beer has time.
No, we're far.
Never mind spell check. Where's my free red beers? There we go. Where's my free red beers? Can all get Dab Dark?
Jesus.
I'll add myself back in here.
I know we can get it North Bay.
You guys have in Ontario. I don't get it here, but I do get Checkfar Dark here.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
You can check faster than we can.
I've had Dab Dark. I remember getting a can in Ontario.
And write down Dab Dark. start compiling a list of beers that are readily available in Ontario that you can't get, and put together like a 6-pack, and I'll send it your way, kind of thing.
Okay, you actually gonna do it this time?
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Interesting chat.
Jesus, that was
Background, huh?
mean.
Jesus.
Seriously, let's go, people.
All right, I'm reading. Guy with his hat articulate. Oh, Guy with the hat.
Guy.
articulate?
That guy
This
with
one's-
the hat.
this
He's talking
was
about
Guy.
Chris.
Oh, guy with the hat articulate. Oh, it's enunciate, but okay.
Sorry.
Well, I think he was just saying he is articulate when he was talking, when he was doing his shit.
Oh.
I think it was.
So then he's is
I think-
articulate.
I think it was a compliment. Yeah.
I don't even know anymore. Doesn't matter. I'm tired. Let's go.
Too much hockey for Chris.
Looks like I can. Dan has said. Let's hear Lee. That is not how you spell my name, but thank you. Cut
No.
loose with the F bombs.
No, that was male Lee. It's not how you spell either of your names, but that was male Lee.
That's a good combo of the two. I mean, you know, it works.
It's like he was going for Lady Lee, but just gave up.
Got almost there and was like, "Yeah, I'm done."
And then I said I can as well. Then Amy said the 90s tap selection at bars in Ontario, from what I remember, Rickard's Red and Alexander Keith's were the first new and interesting offerings outside of Canadian and Blue.
Hence them
Agreed.
being priced in the premium range when
Yep.
they
Premium beers.
they were no more premium than the other ones, really.
Yeah, that's true. I remember fucking Alexander Keith's Red sort of came out right around just after or just before one or the other. I think just after, to compete with Rickard's, when Rickard's did a
no,
bigger push.
That the Keith's Red didn't show up here for a while after Rickard's Red. I didn't even know.
I'm
about
from the
Keith-
West Coast. It showed up way before you guys. So
I didn't
Yeah, I'm
know
not,
that.
I'm not talking about the proto fucking history times when Rickard's Red first showed up.
Shut up, whippersnapper! I'll beat you with my cane.
As well
Oh.
as Foster. You better be mouthing this, Dan.
Wow.
You're supposed
No,
to be
he's
right now.
failing.
As well as Foster Lager. Jamie, Stella, and Guinness were soon to follow. Dan, I remember having a
That's
Foster
sign
for
language.
my grade 12 grad day. Dan, in 1991. Damn, I am old. You
Yes,
are.
he is.
Jamie, IPAs should be seasonal and barrel-aged stouts should be year-round. Collective Arts.
Wow.
Why are you doing
Number
hand
one,
signals
what are
as
you bringing
well?
on? Because I talk with my hands.
No, I'm talking
No,
to
he's talking
Dan.
to me.
Oh,
He's mimicking me.
yeah, okay. You know what? That yeah. That actually that tracks. That tracks. I like that. Well played.
Collective Arts peated series would be awesome. Is it peated? What's peated?
Peated is a very disgusting taste of beer. I mean, it tastes
You're-
like it
oh,
tastes
you're
like
fucking
iodine and Band-Aids.
So it's a
I'm
medical beer.
honestly, I'm not a fan.
I'm taking
of,
Dan back
most-
out for that one.
I'm honestly not a fan of most peated flavored things myself either.
Then
but
Nick,
I,
you're gonna be the
I haven't
one
had that
knocking
many.
Oh, Phil.
Oh, I've had Dan's had peated
Well, no,
beers
like
before.
Male
He's had a
Lee, you've
Lefroy
had a
barrel
bunch of the-
aged.
A bunch of the Scotch whiskeys and stuff. Those are like peat.
Okay.
And, like you're more
right?
acquainted, acclimated, whatever you want to call it. Like you've had more. I've only had peat in maybe one or two whiskeys I tried at one point with He You Shall Not Be Named
I'm gonna
and
continue the comments.
in a
now.
couple
Marcel.
beers, but
I've
they
had like at least a couple beers
Okay,
that
continue
were
the
like
comments.
barrel aged and peated, like piggy whiskey barrels. All right, okay.
Jamie, right? In excitement, Dan, I'm enjoying the CABA series. So why not do something during the summer? I totally agree. Language I cannot speak or nor pronounce, so I'm just gonna assume what's next week's beer. That's
yeah,
sensational.
Raider's going
Talking
through
about-
all the languages of the world. Next week is going to be something else. He's
That's sensational.
he's
Talking
Google's
about
translating it up. So,
priorities on a beer drinking show. LOL. A time and place for everything. That's sensational. That oven. No, fuck that comment. Vincent Fournier. But it's the question. Oh, but it's the question Albanian. I told you as last week. I don't look at Google to see what the next language is.
Yeah,
I'm
Google
not that smart.
Google Translate doesn't make you smart, Radar.
Something about. Oh, what's next week's beer? Complete Latin. Thank you.
Wow.
Jesus
Mean, but-
Christ,
mean,
Lee.
mean but fair.
That was Oh,
Pork Latin, Nick.
Jesus.
That's sensational. I refuse to learn new languages. Just participate in this. New languages. Just
That's
participate in the
fair.
chat.
Yeah, fair comment.
Agreed.
Keep it English, guys. Jesus Christ. That's sensational. I already said that.
we're in Canada. Speak Canadian.
Vincent Fournier. Next week's ceramic, eh?
There you go.
That's sensational. I think it's the only red ale I've had. This is my knowledge basis on red ales. I've only had 2, so I'm not far off. Dan, that's not bad. I don't know when these are coming out, so they're gonna kind of read funny. That's sensational. Well, that and Alexander Keith's red. Where's Ochnorot? I don't know where Otnoratu is. I don't know what that is for. That's sensationally with the jokes tonight. I'm not sure what I said, but thank you. I said hell froze over. That was for Dan and Nick meeting. Rickard's Greg.
They should make a
Vincent?
Rickard's Greg.
Lee, you will both stop existing if you two meet. Someone made a comment and I thought it was funny. I don't remember what. Dan, it would be worth it. Then I said I like the taste of cardboard. I lost where I am.
Where did Nick go? He's failing miserably putting the comments up on the screen.
He's probably had to go to the bathroom. He's
Like
had
to
to
do
Do the
cardboard in
fucking
my
math
beer?
in the background.
That's
Background
what-
math.
The
That's what he calls
multi-tab-
taking a
I
the
poop.
multi.
the part where Lee Ritter comments.
Oh, now they're backstage just arguing. Okay.
Okay.
Can you believe Carrie got kicked off the show, but I'm still here?
I like the part where Lee Ritter comments. I do try to keep the audience entertained.
There we
That's
go.
sensational. What would they do without you? Liv, I'm not that entertaining. That's sensational. Don't be so modest.
Wait, you read your own comment incorrectly. It's live. I'm not that entertaining. Not live. I'm not that entertaining.
Wow.
I
Oh,
Called out.
God, Rickard's red is getting to your
You know,
head.
it works either way, though. What would they do? She'd just live. She's not that entertaining. It works either way.
I said live. I wrote it. Live
Oh.
as in live. They're gonna live without me.
I thought you were just saying you were not that entertaining live. I misunderstood.
Come on, keep
Here comes a domestic.
keep correcting the thoughts that were in her head, Lee. Come on.
None
I
of
will
us can
fight
really
you.
live without you, there, Lee. So just keep that in mind.
Oh,
I will
that was
come
awesome.
to Nova Scotia and fight you.
Fuck, I could live without all you guys.
I feel like that's his end game. He wants that to happen. He liked it the first time.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm almost offended. Almost.
It'll look like fighting, but it's not really fighting.
I said drink for some reason. I can't remember why. Oh,
Because
yes.
because you're telling me to drink the full 12 pack. You guys
Yes.
go fuck yourself. I'm not 19 anymore.
That's sensational. Getting trashed on Wednesday. Okay, I am an industry worker.
You're
My
not
weekend
41
not
anymore either,
illegal.
Dan.
Go on.
But
This is all
Rickard's
broken down.
Red and Alexander Keith's red remind me of college. That's sensational. This has all broken down. Just a
Yeah,
little.
Agreed.
Dan,
Of course
of
it
course, has. Dan, we are almost an hour in.
an hour.
Yeah.
God damn you.
That's sensational. Enjoying how
There's no vowel
Rickard-
before it. An
Vincent,
hour.
you're right.
No.
Lee, but the beer Nomicron does. That's sensational. Lee too drunk to read. Shake my head. I am not too drunk to read. I cannot read in the first place because I
She's just
struggle.
too
with it.
distracted by us to read.
Thank you.
All right, Nick, give us the scores.
I mean, girls aren't supposed to be read. Let's be honest.
Let's
That
go.
sentence
Come on,
makes sense.
Oh, we know
Hurry
who's
up.
getting
We're-
kicked
we're-
out for
we're
this
almost an hour in. Hurry up.
That's the way you say it. H is not a fucking vowel.
one. Yeah, you're almost an hour in.
Yeah, the way you said just you said
Ah,
an hour. An
Hour.
Oh, we got a live Carrie Dan fight. Let's go.
hour. Hour.
Jesus Christus.
It's the English exception, so I could see how it throws people off. Because technically, he's following the rule, but realistically, it's not said like that.
Nick.
I plan to unthaw a steak later. Does anyone have a problem with that?
Yes, because I want to be there for you to.
You're gonna freeze a steak. Have fun. It's gonna taste worse after you thaw
gross.
it.
Why would you freeze a steak? You don't do that shit.
Jesus,
Greg,
Dan.
he's gonna unthaw a steak. You're gonna
I was
freeze
gonna
it.
say.
There it
I was
is.
All
gonna
right,
say,
guys.
Dan-
Ratings for the
There it
evening.
is.
We have 6.4 for style and overall 6.8.
Oh woo!
Yay.
Here is this, but if Nick's likes to throw in, oh yeah, next week's beer, we are doing a bring your own.
Whoop, shit. Wrong button.
Oh my
Sorry.
god, that was funny.
Wow.
Oh my
Too
god.
soon. We're ready for that. It cuts right off. That was
Whoops.
Sorry, Nick, I
Bring your
didn't
own
see you were
pump.
there.
I just tried to put it up front. I'm like, oh, brain
Just bring your own
misfired.
pump.
No, Nick is like,
Penis
not in my
pump,
chat.
whatever. Hand pump.
No, I wasn't offended by it. It was just like, oh fuck, shit. I was gonna put her up front. And like,
Gas
oh,
pump.
wrong button. I
Remove me.
moved her.
He's like, bitch is talking. It's not even her turn.
You're stepping on my turf.
Who gave her a soapbox?
Lady's been
No,
overstepping
no.
tonight, man. We gotta put her in
Nick
place.
just walked into
All
your
right.
apartment and pissed on your oven.
Jesus. All right, you're making yourself cautious about a rub it again. All right, so
Broken
yeah,
glass.
I think
It's
it's
so
sexy
cool.
oven.
no, Lady Lee, you say it. You get
Oh,
to do it
next
this week.
beer. It's a bring your own pumpkin beer. So
Yay!
as long as it has a pumpkin of some sorts in it, bring it. It's
Is it-
Halloween. We're
Well,
celebrating.
in it, but you can do pumpkin spice and stuff too. That doesn't have.
I was
actual
gonna
pumpkin
say a
spice.
lot of pumpkin beers don't actually have pumpkin in them, so it has
If it
to
has
just
pumpkin in the title, you're good to go.
pumpkin-y.
Yeah,
Or
pumpkin in the
Yeah.
title.
I don't know if such a beer exists, but if your beer has a picture of a pumpkin on it, even if it's not a pumpkin beer, I feel it is allowed.
I think
If
you're
you can
going
bring
too
if
far
you can
there.
bring a beer with a picture of a pumpkin that somehow is not a pumpkin beer, then I applaud you. And yes, bring that beer for sure.
I'm sure something
same way.
exists, like some Halloween ale or something like that just has a picture of a pumpkin on it.
No,
I've you know what
Bring
that's a style
It's
that
still
needs to be.
Halloween
I've never
beer.
heard Halloween ale before. Someone
Yeah.
needs to invent that style.
That's what I mean. Like, bring it because it's still like a Halloween beer. Like we're celebrating.
I don't even know
No.
what you
Halloween
what-
beer, but
what-
also has like molasses kisses and other chocolates that you might find in your bag in Christmas on Halloween.
And,
okay,
like,
Captain
raisins-
Diabetes,
and
whatever.
raisins.
And
What
some-
would-
and maybe
What would be a Halloween beer? What would be like the style? Like what would you do for that style of
It would
beer?
Licorice.
taste.
No, pumpkin beer.
It would taste like candy apples and razor blades.
And oh Jesus,
Oh,
Drunk.
can I? Can we,
I do-
Can we br-
You definitely
I do
need to
wanna-
get a
I do
tetanus
wanna
shot
mention
after
one
drinking this
thing.
beer.
I do want to mention one thing. I did create this image with the 12-pack of beer that Dan has in mind. So there you go, Dan. You made it.
Aw, Nick.
Even though you're not
Oh,
even on the screen.
Aw.
Even
I
though
thought
you're
I-
not on the screen, you can't hear us. We still love you, but
I
yeah.
thought you were going
not
to
enough
say
room
that
for
you.
some people.
I thought you were going to say you like.
Oh fuck
you
yes.
cropped out. I thought you were going to say you cropped out the picture of the beer case and just shrunk and used that.
There's a
That would've been
case.
great.
There you go.
Dan
There's
has
my
his case.
case. There we go.
There we go.
There. You could have taken a picture of me going like this, but whatever.
What shall we do with a drunken sailor?
I'm sure Jamie will take a screenshot of that later.
Possibly.
Anyway, any
Jamie,
new
have a new
comments there?
We have Unthartha. Bye.
Oh.
Bye. No, the
Bye.
show. No, this is Nick's show. Sorry, Dan. Pumpkin.
Because you said that first. When you
Oh,
were-
because I got.
Yeah.
Yo, that makes sense.
He's like,
Dan.
"Pumpkin,
Pumpkin.
you."
Yeah.
Pumpkin. That's like giving your brother a hand job.
Pumpkin.
I'm gonna buy some
That's
pumpkins and
official.
make some
It's
pumpkin
guaranteed
seeds.
already done. Oh, it's guaranteed already done. Dan, there is a reason why they don't put a Halloween beer in there.
I'm confused.
Right. All right. Okay, so I want to thank that sensational Vince Radar's in there. Who else is in the chat? There's
Jamie.
also that
Jimmy.
Jamie. Of course, everybody loves Jamie. You can't say no to him. Jamie.
Hey, you should see his hockey selfies.
Bubba Sadie's. He's probably not even watching anymore. But
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know,
Guinness
fuck
is-
off.
probably got
Fuck off.
offended and then left.
He's a
but,
nice guy. He lives here in North Bay, man. Come
I don't
on,
care.
man.
He sucks. Fuck him.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
listen,
yeah.
listen, everyone in
Jesus
North Bay
Christ.
is nice.
Uh,
You know who's nice is that Marcel fella.
oh,
Yeah, great guy.
All right, Dan. What
There
do you
we
want to
go.
say?
I can explain. They don't put pumpkin in any names because people don't buy them after, or they don't put Halloween in any names because people don't buy them after Halloween. It is a marketing thing.
That's true.
All
That's why
right.
they make a
Well,
small batch only for the season.
Thanks for having me.
I still feel like a Halloween
Thanks,
ale
Dan.
would be a thing that would be interesting to try. Someone, I don't know.
All right.
All right,
We will
so
research any Halloween ales.
we've actually been going for over an hour here, but then again, we did have a great turnout tonight.
Night,
So with
Chris.
7 people. So I want to say good night, Chris.
I'm fucking
Good night,
so
actually,
tired.
everybody, because we're gonna sign off here and we're gonna let
Penis pump.
Redbeard show his penis. So thanks
Pump,
everyone
pump.
for watching. We'll
Chris
All the
be back
Peters
penis
next
killed
pump.
those
week
women.
with Chris
All,
Peters
all,
fucking
all
a
the
pumpkin.
women with his penis pump.
Chris Peters killed the great pumpkin.